Hello, guys, and welcome to Ajrankita Journalist. It is the time of the year where the retain list gets released for Mansfield Town Football Club, and uncertain times ahead. Many players are bound to be released, but let's have a look into the list. So we'll start off with the players that are under contract and have been retained by the Stags. At number one, we've got Andy Cook. So Andy Cook has been retained. He was on loan at Tranmere from January, which obviously sees him return back to the Stags because it wasn't on a permanent basis. So he returns back to the Stags. He was a good player for us when he featured. He's obviously scored 7 goals in the league, which isn't as good as Rose and Maynard, but still up there. Still a goal scoring striker, and nevertheless was a good player. The next player is Kellen Gordon. Kellen Gordon's been retained. He's been injured for the past couple of months now due to back injury that he was holding out for a couple of weeks before. Obviously, he decided to go, no, enough is enough, and decided to get some rehabilitation and get some physiotherapy on his bad back. Hopefully, he can return. He was a good player for us, many assists, a crucial goal hit as well. And yeah, hopefully he can return back to his best when he returns back from injury. Jimmy Knowles and Tyree Sinclair have also been retained. The two youngsters would be looking for more game time now under Graham Coughlan, especially Jimmy Knowles. He featured a few times in the matchday squads under Coughlan and under Dempster. He played a few games of the Leasing.com Trophy and appeared in a few league appearances. Tyree Sinclair, on the other hand, was more based around the youth academy and the youth setup. Didn't feature much for the first team. A few sub appearances for the first team here and there, but nothing too major for Tyree Sinclair. And hopefully, the two of them will be looking to fight for spots in the first 11 and get more game time under their belts. The last player that is still under contract and retained for the season is Mr. Ryan Sweeney. And Ryan Sweeney I want to say, was one of our best and key centre backs for the Stags in the 1920 season. Phenomenal player. He looks like a true leader and could potentially be a leader for the Stags in the years to come. And I'm really excited to see what will happen with Sweeney, to see if Coughlan rebuilds his backline surrounding Sweeney, and hopefully we'll see many good things branch out from this. So the next list is the contract options have been exercised and therefore have been retained. So on that list we've got club legend Mal Benning. The left back has been retained for yet another season, and I'm glad that he is, because he's one of the best left backs that we've had at the Stags in recent years, and hopefully he can continue and get back to his best of forms once the season restarts and once football is back. Harry Charsley, a January acquisition for Graham Coughlan, only had a few games for the Stags, but valuable experience for Harry Charsley, getting to know the lads and potentially kicking on from there. But coronavirus has put a stop to that, and potentially could see him pair up with someone else in midfield. We've got James Clark, Jason Law and Aidan Stone also on the list. The three youngsters have been retained. Aidan Stone filled in well for the injured Bobby Olejnik and for Conrad Logan when he went out on loan to Forest Green. Was a great keeper. James Clark filled in well for Kellen Gordon and for Hayden White, but when they were injured and he had to step up into the matchday squad, filled their spot really well, played a few key games, even a man of the match performance, which was great to see from a youngster. And Jason Law, we haven't seen much of Jason Law in and around the matchday squad, but I'm pretty sure with the days, months, weeks and years to come, Jason Law will be used more and more in the matchday squad. The last three players that we have on this list is CJ Hamilton, Danny Rose, and Willem Tomlinson. Willem Tomlinson obviously paired up with Harry Charsley quite a few times in the centre of midfield, and it's good to see the pairing retained for next season. Hopefully that pairing can stay, and we can see many goals, many assists flying in from those two. CJ Hamilton, the flying winger, has been retained. We haven't seen the best of him this season, maybe due to a bit of morale loss or a bit of confidence loss, but nevertheless, hopefully CJ returns back to his best. And a player dear to my heart, Mr. Danny Rose, has also been retained. His contract has been extended and has been retained this season, scoring obviously double figures for Mansfield Town this season in the league. Which was great to see, returning back to his best, and hopefully those boys can make the most of their chance that they're being given by this contract extension. The next part of the list sees the Stags' negotiations underway with these players. The first person on the list is Tom Fielding, another youngster, another person that has got a lot of potential in them and potentially could grow into a first team player. Jordan Graham, another young and up and coming player. Lewis Gibbons, another young and up and coming defender. Alistair Smith, yet another young and up and coming midfielder who's got bags of potential. Aidan Walker, another young player. Negotiations are underway with these players, and many things could happen with these youngsters. We've also got the more experienced Nicky Maynard. The striker he scored 14 goals in the league this season, which is a good return. Not as good as Owen Doyle's, but it's a good return for Mansfield, especially with Maynard and Rose scoring a combined 25 goals together, which was a key highlight for the two of them, that they had such a good partnership together. Joe Riley, another player that has negotiations underway with him. The right back, he'll be battling for a spot at right back or right wing back with the likes of James Clark and Callum Gordon to see who will be the supreme right back at the club. And the most dreaded part to a retain list is the players who have been released from the club. The first player on the list is Neil Bishop. I'm very thankful that I could interview Neil, and it was a pleasure to interview him, a true gentleman, and hopefully he goes on to do the best in a coaching role, in a managing role, or in a player's role if he's still knocking about for a few years. But yeah, I wish him the best. Craig Davis, it looked like he was going to be on his way out anyway. He's been out with an ankle injury for the past a year and a half, 2 years now, and it looked certain that he was going to be released from Mansfield Town. He's probably paid quite a bit, and due to the current circumstances, there was no decision, but he had to go. Otis Khan, one that I was shocked with. He was a baller. On the pitch, he was a very good player. Definitely talented. And we never know what could have been if he played just a bit more games for Mansfield Town. But nevertheless, I wish Otis Khan the best in his future endeavours in a different club. Conrad Logan, a very underrated keeper. I mean, not many people think he was good for us, but I think he was an okay keeper. He played well. That's to say, he kept us in the League Two semi-final playoff against Newport. I think he played tremendously well that game, but apart from that, it's been mediocre. That's why I think it was time for Conrad Logan to go, and he's seen himself leave the club and been released with immediate effect. Alex McDonald, an absolute workhorse on the pitch, has also been released, always putting 110% in his games. I thought that Graham Coughlin enjoyed Maka on the pitch, but it looks like the management and the owners, the chairman, the CEO, have decided to release Alex McDonald from his contract as well. Bobby Olejnik has also been released, meaning that we only have one senior keeper in our team, which looks like Graham Coughlin will have to invest in at least one more keeper or two to be a backup to Aidan Stone. Christian Pearce, the captain, it's very sad to see him leave, the big chief, as we call him. It's sad to see him go, really, because he was a true leader. Passion grown from him. Yeah, it's sad to see him released, and sad to see him not given another contract. But Christian Pearce, I bid you farewell, and I hope that you do the very best in your future endeavours, whether it's for a League Two club, whether you're battling against Mansfield Town. I'd love to see the Big Chief again in action against Mansfield. Matt Preston hasn't been his season this season. He's been benched a lot of times due to Kellen Watts coming in January. Christian Pearce, Sweeney, and Kellen Watts in that back line. The 18-19 season were decent for Matt Preston, but 19-20 season wasn't the best, and he saw himself axed. Two players that weren't used that much in the starting 11, Amari Sterling-James and Noah Stokes. Both underused. Noah Stokes more younger, Amari Sterling-James more underrated, scored crucial goals for Mansfield, but both have been axed, and the last player on the list that has been released is Hayden White. The right back was a great player when he was fit, especially for the first half of the season under David Flitcroft, but he hasn't been the same since his leg injury against Colchester, where it more or less sidelined him for the second half of the 18-19 season and most of this season. So hopefully Hayden can get back to playing good football in League Two, whatever League One, and get back to full fitness very quickly. Jack Evans and Kellen Watts have also returned back to their parent clubs due to them coming on loan. But that's the whole video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Many players have been released. It looks like it's going to be Project Revamp and Project Promotion for Graham Coughlin, for Carolyn Radford, the CEO, and for John Radford. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot and it helps the channel out a lot. And yeah, I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.